Welcome to episode 8 of the One Idea podcast. Thanks very much for watching and listening. I hope you enjoy it. So if you do, please share, subscribe, like, comment. I really appreciate it.
All right, let's leave this shit. I'm here with Javier Trujillo. Tell you the truth, I really wanted to do this while I was in Peru. Because I was going, guess where I am? Because where I was staying was in Trujillo.
Yeah, dude.
So it's like, being geeky as I am. Correct me if I'm wrong. 9-1 MMA record.
Professional 6-1 now. Professionally.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I wish I had that many fights, dude. God damn it! But nobody wants to fight your boy, bro. God damn. You know.
You had one folly into bare-knuckle boxing as well. Was it only one fight in bare-knuckle boxing so far?
Just one fight, man. And in the one fight I did have, I fought for the super middleweight championship of bare-knuckle boxing. Dude. So at least my intro was I walked right into the fire, and you know what? I loved it. I loved it, dude. And, you know, I wish I had a longer camp. I mean, Rob Wolf is a terrific champion, dude. I think he's a tough motherfucker. You know, you English are made of something else. I'll give you that. You know,
not me.
But I definitely want to do it again, and I feel like if I had a full fight camp, I definitely could be very successful in that sport. And you know, I loved it, man. Everything about it, the whole experience was how I felt when I first watched mixed martial arts and when I first watched UFC. It's raw, it's gritty, it's real. You got to be a tough cunt, and at the same time, a fucking kind of a little crazy. And I think that's why between the fighters on the bare-knuckle boxing roster, there's always constant mutual respect because we all kind of realize, yo, this is fucking nuts what we're about to do.
Yeah, how did that come about? I was going to talk about that later, but as soon as we're chatting about it now, how did that? Because it seems a strange one. You're fighting, what's it called in Thailand, MMA, and then you're over in the UK doing bare-knuckle boxing and fighting for the belt. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, like, so, I mean, I had been living in Thailand for some time now, was trying to get a visa, you know, right after I just won the FMD welterweight title, dude, you know, baddest man of Bangkok, dude, tap some guy out in less than a minute, I'm riding high, things are good, and then my visa gets denied. So then it's like, well, no, I can't stay in Thailand for a bit, so went to the UK, stayed there with a couple of friends of mine that I met through Muay Thai just over the years and training in Thailand. They said they had a room out there, and I think it was right before Christmas that I saw the Jim Freeman, the promoter of bare knuckle boxing, put out a notice saying we had a pool out for the super middleweight championship title. Is anybody interested? So I put my name in. He's like, yeah, I'll take you down, mate, like whatever. And I had John also, you know, say, John is friends with him. John, like, put him up. You know, give him a holler, say that, hey, I'm here. This is my champion. You know, so John puts in a good word for me, but still, like, we ain't getting really much of a response. And I mean, and I think this is something that all fighters need to do. You are a self promoter at the end of the day. The fact that the idea that you think you fighting is enough, it's not. If you want to make it in this game, dude, you have to understand marketing. You have to understand social media. And for some reason, the last like year, I've been known as like a meme king, dude, just making and sharing memes on my Instagram page and my Facebook page. So I just made a meme one day of the scene from Snatch with Brad Pitt, and they're all in the roped square circle, right, in the underground. And I just put my face on it from one of the FMD fights and did it legit. And I said, yo, bro, I'm here. And I shared it to all of the bare knuckle boxing pages. I shared it to all the MMA forums and everything like that. And it just caught on. And a lot of people kept rallying, hey, give this guy a shot. Give this guy a shot. And then Jim's like, you want it? And it was like 5 weeks out, dude. Do you want to do it? And I said, well, fuck yeah, dude. If I'm going to fight bare knuckle boxing, which I've been wanting to do for almost a year now, ever since I saw the first match. And now I'm fighting for the super middleweight championship of the fucking world. 88 kgs, which is what I walk around at, you know.
I was going to say, you fight welterweight, don't you?
Yeah, I fight welterweight most of the time. And I have fought middleweight. You know, that's my only loss. That's always been my only losses when I go up in a weight class. But you know what, dude? An opportunity like that only comes once in a lifetime. And if I didn't take it, I would feel silly. You know, I would feel stupid. How could I say I'm a fighter if I'm not willing to fight the best? you know?
Yeah.
So that's how I took it, man. And I loved it.
So how did it differ, the build up and everything, compared to Full Metal Dojo? What was it like? Did it feel bigger, or did it feel undergroundy? What was the feel like for you?
The only thing that for me felt different was like FMD's my home. You know, that's the only realm of fighting that I've ever known professionally. Like I fought here, amateurs in the US, but like the feeling is different. I find comfort in like knowing that I'm warming up and my opponent's watching me. You know, like here, it was just like kind of like the traditional, your blue corners over here, red corners over here in their area. And just that alone was a little bit different. And then how quickly the fights go, you know, just like because a lot of guys lose by cuts, you know, so you're sitting there, maybe you're warming up, maybe you're not quite ready. Next thing you know, you're up already because the three guys in front of you all lost because they got cuts over their eyes, you know? So you're like, oh, okay, well, I wasn't expecting that. But, you know, when I got into the stadium where it was London 02, you know, and I got to train with a few guys, and they said, listen, man, you have an opportunity to fight in one of the biggest stadiums in boxing in UK history for your debut. You know, enjoy every moment of this. Enjoy it, because professional boxers, if they ever get to where you're at, they fucking made it in their sport. So be out there and enjoy it and have a good time, have fun. You know, and that's how I came with it, man. I smiled, I threw a little dance out there, dude. I had a good time, you know. And then the fight started, dude. Me and this guy Rob, we're mutual respect the whole time, and then it's like, all right, bro, let's throw it down. And we just sat there and smiled as we freaking hit each other, dude. Hit him with one. He's like, oh, you got me good on that. He swipes me with a jab, you know. He starts poking out that he puts a cut over my eye. You know, I just smile at him. And next thing you know, they pull me off, and I couldn't see out of my right eye. You know, just they cut right above my eyelid. And every time during the fight, you know, we're moving, I'm fainting. Next thing you know, like because it hit like a blood vessel or something, the blood would pool up and then go over my eye. So I felt like my depth perception would go off. And I felt like I was blind in one eye, like a part of the time. So boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, boom, I'm blind in one eye. And they're like, shit, just trying to recover, trying to wipe my eye, just trying to get in it. And then they called it for cuts, you know. But, you know what? I had a lot of fun, man. It was a great time. It was a different energy for sure than the FMD show. I feel FMD. What were you going to say?
The UK. How big's the crowd?
I believe that there's, man, you know what? There was a lot of people in there. I'll tell you that, though. I couldn't say how many exactly, but I know that I sold about, 20 tickets, and I had a lot of people come out. But yeah, man, it was a big show. I knew before all this COVID thing happening that they were going to be moving to a bigger stadium, just because the sport is getting that much popular there. And how when I was young and I knew that MMA and the UFC was going to be a big thing, that's what I feel about bare-knuckle boxing, and I think it's going to be the newest thing coming up for sure.
Do you hear the crowd when you fight?
What's that?
Do you hear it? When you're fighting, do you just like tunnel in, or do you just...
I tunnel.
What do you like?
All my fights, I tunnel in. Nothing else exists, man. For me, I still like to believe that like I am a martial artist as I'm a fighter, and you have to entertain, you got to talk to people. At the end of the day, I feel like this is what I was born and bred to do. Like, coming back home, I understand that my ancestors, they're all military background, all great warriors. It's just something about once I'm in there, dude, it's everything fades and it's just me and this guy. And that's all I see until either some rough guy pulls me off of him or it's over, or he can't move, then I know it's done. And I feel like I've just done my work, just like how like a fighting rooster, that's what he loves to do, or like a fucking pit bull, a fighting pit bull. It's what they were bred to do, and they love it. And I've kind of realized that that's just how I feel about fighting, man,
Yeah, but I think that's where I changed. I've had a foray into it, but I don't call myself a fighter. It's something, I don't know what you call it, Dan O'Danian, he used to be at Fighting Spirit where you started. He said,
yeah, dude, my boy Dan.
I like it. He's a fucking heavyweight, isn't he? You're a middleweight, and he goes, well, Javier, you're sparring with him, and you're just having to crack him to keep him off you, because he just keeps coming forward, and I'm fucking cracking him. He just won't stop. And like, he's cracked me, and I'm like, whoa, man. I always used to I'd get nervous sparring with him, like, you know what I mean, before it's out sparring. Well, saying that, I was going to save it till later. I remember me, in the loosest sense of the word, we sparred one time, and I still got to thank him for it. Because I don't know if you remember it, Bangkok Fight Lab, I was fucking gassed out. I could hardly stand up. Like,
you know what? I do remember that now. That was at the old location, right?
Just like, it's like, you could have smashed me.
No,
tap, tap, tap. Yeah, come on. Put your hands up and all that. And just carried me through the round, man. While everyone was watching, I was like so embarrassed. So I'm going to thank you for that one, mate.
Oh, no worries, dude. I know how that feels, man. I know how that feels.
You could have made me look. So after that, I had to lie down before I got onto the BTS, because I couldn't make it to the BTS. Like,
oh man, but the heat too in that old spot too. Every now and then, like on a hot summer day in Bangkok, dude, you could only last a few rounds and you're done. I don't care how conditioned you are. You know, it was brutal.
In all fairness, I wasn't in great condition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
Better than that. So tell me about fighting in Full Metal Dojo. So you've had what 7 fights in Full Metal Dojo? Yeah. So tell me about that. When I've been there, there's a different buzz when you come in. You know what I mean? There's always a different buzz in the crowd. It seems to be there's more energy in the crowd when you're fighting. You know. So what's it like for you?
That's home, man. The FMD cage. Before every fight, I almost have like a little bit of like a ritual, you know, like, you know, we go in early, we talk about the rules, and, you know, they're setting up the cage. There's a few people talking around, you know, in the club. I get in there, take off my shoes. I walk in like I'm going to walk in for the fight, and I run my hands across the cage, just remembering how big it is. It's a small cage, you know, people aren't aware of how small it is. So it presses the action, you know, there's no feeling out. There's no, you know, trying to do some Ali stuff, dude. There's not enough room for that. So you know, and the way I fight, I press you. My idea is that I'm gonna make you sprint with me, and if you don't keep up, tough shit for you, bro. But I go in there and I tell myself the same thing. You know what? There's nowhere in the world that I'd rather be than in this cage. Downtown Bangkok on Soy 11 in Club Insanity. There is nowhere else I'd rather be. This is my home. And I feel bad for my opponent because he has the misfortune of being locked in here with me for 15 minutes if he makes it that far, you know? And for some reason, like, I think why I bring such a buzz to the crowd is that I go in there with the intentions of always killing every one of my opponents, dude. I'm not in there trying to play sports or do whatever. The intention is that I'm going to kill you. Fortunately enough that there is a ref that is going to stop me from killing you. But that's always been my mindset, and I love it because, like, there's just something about, there's a free, especially now, I love it even more because we're so, I feel like society now is just putting more rules on us and putting more, you know, locked, that's how I felt in England. Like, it started feeling like a nanny state during the whole COVID thing, you know, people telling me to wait in lines, people been going here, growing up in school, people telling you to, you know, pass your papers down, go to class during this bell ring. When I became an adult, you know, get up, you know, shut up, keep your head down, work hard. It's like everybody's constantly telling me what to do. And for some reason, especially in the FMD cage, for especially as a man, for someone to say, listen, for 15 minutes, you're pretty much free to do whatever you want. And there's something that I think that's why, like, people, they see that when I'm in there, that I'm being me, dude. You can see me express, and people know I love being in there. And, you know, just like John said, you know, social media wise, I do okay. But I think my following and I think the crowds that I bring are just word of mouth. People that I meet through training, people that I meet on the streets, you know, and they like my story, they like my background, they like my history, and They say, fuck yeah, I'll go watch you fight, dude. Let me know when you get tickets. Great. Boom. Sold another pair of tickets. Hey, this is my friend Hobby, you know. Blah, blah, blah. I meet him at a Sky Bar in Bangkok, you know. Blah, 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 blah. You know, I start talking with them. Boom, another pair of tickets sold. And just by word of mouth, they're telling people, yo, this is what I came out here to do. I'm a former hotshot firefighter, a wildland firefighter by trade. You know, I'm doing one of the most dangerous jobs on the fucking planet. And in my free time, I choose to fight people around the world. No better way to get to know a culture than to fight their people. And I fought people from all over the world. And I felt like it's made me a better man. It's made me understand people. It made me understand their way of living, where they're coming from. And at the end of the day, when we bridge away and we pull away all that shit, it's the same fucking thing, dude. I got buddies from the Middle East, from Russia, from the UK, from Thailand. And yeah, we all speak different languages and this and that, but at the end of the day, there's nothing more real than fucking throwing fists at you. You know, I've my best friends in the fucking world, I punch in the face every day. Who the hell can say that?
There is something about it, isn't it? There's a connection with it, you know what I mean? It just, there's no hiding places and there's no bullshit. You know, it's easy hitting pads, because they don't hit your back, but when you have to step in with someone and they're going to hit your back, all your bullshit's gone, hasn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Or even, you know, I had 2 amateur fights, whatever. You can't bullshit once you get in there and they shut the cage door. You know what I mean? You've got to either.
There's no lying,
curl up in the ball and run out.
Absolutely, and that's why I loved it, and that's why I was drawn to it, because like I feel, especially now more than ever, but like for me growing up. You know, it's just the whole world is just filled with deception and bullshit and appearances, and now things with like Instagram where everybody's life is so fucking great. It's all about appearances. What I always loved about fighting and MMA in particular is that like you said, there is no hiding. I know if you've been training your stand-up. I know if you've been wrestling. I know you've been doing your jiu-jitsu. I know you've been conditioning. And if you haven't, everybody's going to find out really quickly. Everybody's going to find out when you quit. Everybody's going to find out what you do when you meet adversity, and how do you overcome that, or do you cower? Do you step up or do you cower? And even in myself, even in the moments when I lose, there's a self-analysis that's going on in my head. There's like, how am I going to overcome this? How am I going to learn from this? So next time I come in there, I'm better, and I never lose that way again. You know, and for me, that's what I loved about it, and I feel like it's empowered my life, because without it, you know, who knows where I'd be? I'd probably be a gang member, I'd probably be a drug addict, you know. If I didn't have martial arts when I did, I think it was my saving grace, you know.
Yeah, there's times when I tapped out because I'm absolutely fucking knackered. Yeah, when you're not fit, and like I think I remember the times like I've been striking a lot, and then I haven't done any grappling for years, and then jumped into MMA sparring, and I'm like, when I was in China, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore. And how do you train your mind to get past that? How do you get past? You know, because there's a point where normal people just want to give up, and then there's athletes and fighters, which fighters are different to athletes. Well, you'll just push through that where your body's saying, stop, fucking, you've had enough here, stop it. How do you push yourself through that? How do you train? Because it is another type of training, I think. I don't know about you. But.
Yeah, I think it's, I'm trying to remember the quote now. I think it's like, it's like when you're not conditioned, you become a coward. Like, like it makes cowards of us all, you know? I'm trying to remember the quote now.
Cardio makes cowards of everybody.
Yeah. If you have the lack of cardio, it makes cowards of us all, man. You know, but I think it came from my years in the fire service and wrestling. You know, high school wrestling where I'm at now. I'm staying back at my mom's place where I grew up in high school, and something about American wrestling, I feel it gives young men a certain type of mental toughness that, I mean, I'm trained boxing, Muay Thai, you know, jiu-jitsu, but something about an American wrestler's mentality that just, it's about will. And you know what? Like, I may be tired, but I'm going to make sure that you're more tired than me, you know, and that's that competitive drive, that competitive nature. And the same thing that I learned in hot shotting was like, there are days literally, like, it is the greatest marathon in the world, and nobody's aware of it, what these guys do. You're hiking sometimes up to 8 miles just to get to the line, and then you start digging and cutting a fat trench for up to 14 hours, sometimes even longer. And that's where I developed this type of mental toughness. And so not only am I out in the middle of the sun, I'm also fighting a fire. And that, like, when you say like that, okay, we got to back up, we got to do this. Something about when the heat picks up, and to the guy to the left of you and the guy to the right to you ain't moving, you better not be moving either. We are all here to hold the line. And I think that mental toughness has been built up over years. And I feel like when your body starts to break, that's you're only at 40% of your maximum capacity of your body. It's always your mind. Your mind is lazy. You're everybody's default is to be lazy. So it's just finding that mental push of being like, you know what, I'm okay. So I'll do small increments, like, okay, crap, dude, I'm a little bit winded, or homeboy just hit me in the gut. There's fucking a minute on the clock. All right, I'm just going to move around for 15 minutes. Boom. Okay, I feel more. And you break it down into small increments so you can make these goals attainable. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's what mental toughness is. We're doing conditioning at the end of the round. All right, we're about 30 seconds in. I'm going to get 5 more reps. Okay, I got 5 more reps. Let's do another 5 more reps. And that's how you start building that mental capacity that I think a lot of fighters, and I've met a lot of fighters that are pussies too, dude. They just... they ride on athleticism and talent. But when you meet a guy like me who's athletic, talented, and I'll work harder than you, that's when I'm going to beat you, and that's why I love MMA, and that's what I took away from wrestling. You're only as good as you want to be.
When I train things, I'd always, if I'm running, it's like when I was train for that, like, the other person's running more than me, I'm going to have to run. I'm going to get to this, get to halfway, get to here. Or when I was doing like tire flips, it's like, last time I'd done 70, I want to do 71 or 75 this time. Give yourself something to do. How did you get into firefighting? Because that's fucking crazy. That especially where you are in Nevada, there's some crazy fires over that way, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we just had a 20,000 acre fire yesterday. But for me, like, just because in the Western states it's so common, but I've been involved in firefighting since I was 15 years old. In the U.S., we had like an apprentice program. So after high school, like every Wednesday, you would go to a different station and you would basically shadow the professionals. And they would teach you what all the tools are. They showed you how to run maintenance. You're cleaning just a lot of fire engines, kind of doing all the grunt work, but you're learning the tools and the tricks of the trade. And after that, I became a volunteer here at the local district for a bit, and then I got hired on by my first wildland crew right out here in this area called Markleyville, Nevada, or California. They call it State Line. It's State Line, they call the area, because we sit on the border of California and Nevada here. But and that's how I got involved. I worked on an engine for 2 years, learning how to figure out how to pump water up to hills on a fire, and then I got picked up. I was 20 years old on my very first hotshot crew. Now, that's one of the most proudest things of my life, because I got on a crew so young. Most of my coworkers were all my age now, 28, 29, 30. And here I am, a young buck, 2 years in, and I'm here with some of what I consider the greatest fucking athletes on the goddamn planet. These guys, these hotshots there's no athlete in the world that I don't think can have the mental capacity, the athleticism, the strength, the stamina that these guys have, and I think that's what I've always felt I have. I don't know anybody else who's a wildland firefighter, let alone a hotshot that is an MMA fighter too. I feel that's something that's uniquely me, and that a unique mental toughness. Look at the baddest man on the fucking planet, Stipe Miocic, a fucking firefighter. We are the greatest. He smashed a fucking gold medalist or a fucking Olympian. What does that tell you about that's just another day at the office for us because we are so used to possibly dying, man. You know, there have been times when we go on a call and you know we're probably not going to be home for 2 weeks, sleeping out on the side of the hill trying to catch this fire as it progresses.
How long you be out there for sometimes, yeah?
Almost 3 weeks at max before everybody starts to break down and needs to go home. But you can stay up to 3 weeks max on a fire.
How many hours you on and how many hours you off and that, like, so?
16 hours on, 8 hours of rest. And you're not getting paid when you're sleeping out there, when you're working for the feds.
Seriously, 16 hours you'd be fighting that fire for?
Yep, usually about 2.5 or about 2 hours of hiking every day into the site. And then you hike away from the fire and you go camp. And then you hike further. So then it's like you're digging line. And every time you're going farther and farther. But the idea is you're trying to hook this fire and stop it at the head so you can prevent it from going into houses or whatever the area that it is that we're trying to protect. But sometimes you're spiked out there camping for 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, you know? Yeah.
That's tough, man. What's the scariest one you've been in? Or the biggest fire? What's the most memorable time?
The best or the worst? Like what was fun or what was?
whatever you think.
Oh man, dude.
The best is the worst as well for you, isn't it?
Dude, the absolute worst place. I wouldn't even wish it on my fucking enemy. Is this place called the Klamath National Forest, which sits on the border of California and Oregon in the north. Now, I don't know if people who are hikers, but the terrain everywhere is like this. It is extremely steep. And it's a shelly kind of volcanic rock, so it's sharp. So if you fall and you're not wearing gloves or protection, you're going to get cut. Now, I'm a brown man. I'm native and I'm Mexican. Brown guys don't get poison oak and poison ivy, which is this plant that catches and gets rashes and boils on people and makes their skin itch. For some reason, most places, I don't get it. A lot of my other buddies who I get it, their faces blow up, their skin's all itchy and oily. Fortunately, in the Klamath National Forest, they have 13 different strains of this poison oak and I think like 12 different strains of this poison ivy. So if there's not one out there, there's definitely one that's going to catch your boy's ass. And there was. That was the first time I've ever experienced that. And you don't want to change your clothes because the oil gets mixed in with everything else. So you end up wearing the same clothes for the most of the fire trip because you don't want the oils to get mixed in with all your clean clothes because you want something clean to wear when you go home. So you're sleeping in these oily clothes and you're constantly itching yourself and you're having to fight this hot-ass fire on a steep hill like this. And then there's poisonous snakes in the ground. There's poisonous snakes in the fucking trees, dude. There's fucking murder hornets, bro. There's everything and anything is out there to just... Human beings aren't supposed to live out there, but for some godforsaken reason, people choose to live out there. So we have to go fucking fight the goddamn fire.
Yeah, it's awful. I've been to some places and you think, why did people settle here?
There's gold up there. That's why there's settlements up there. Yeah, there's these minor settlements that sit up there and they're looking for gold. But the area so you get to this forest, there's only one place you can go. It's called Happy Camp. And it's because it's the only place that's flat. So that's where they can set up like a base of operations or like a big camp. And when you lay down, because it's the lowest point in the whole area, all the smoke from the fire sinks into that area. Oh, so when you go to sleep and you wake up from your tent, the smoke is hovering. Yeah. And you end up getting sick. You get what they call camp crud, where it's just basically like a flu or whatever. And everybody starts getting sick. So, yeah, that place is probably the absolute worst place I've ever been. Like, I always dread going to a fire to that place. I've fallen off the side of cliffs, I've thought I've almost died a few times falling off cliffs and shit and just doing, so that was definitely the most memorable. That was definitely the worst place I've ever been. When you finally get home, you appreciate things just like a hot shower, just things like that. But I think on a positive note, one of my favorite times was when I got to go to the Colorado Rockies to fight fires. They had in 2013 they had a real big issue there, and we were sent out there for a month. And I don't know if you've ever been, but the Colorado skies at sunset or some of
them.
Yeah,
I've snowboarded in the Rockies.
Yeah, we were fighting a fire that was a mile up, and we finally hooked this thing. And when you're up that high and you're overlooking the sunset, and then as the sun goes dark, the stars are never so clear as I've ever seen. And you know what? It just puts everything into perspective, you know. When you're out there, you don't hear the news, your phone, there's no signal, so your phone's not working. You're just out there with your boys, with your crewmates, and you guys are sitting down, eating some food, bullshitting, throwing a little dip in, dude, and, you know, it's like, oh, how's the wife doing? You know, she's bitching that, you know, we don't got this new sofa set that we're going out there for, you know, this, you know, Hobby, so what are you going to be doing after the season's done? You're going back to Thailand? I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going back to Thailand, man. I'm going to have a good old time. I'm going to be rich as fuck over there, son. Look how much overtime we made on this shit. And those moments were my favorite, and especially because, like, when you're on a hotshot crew, you're on there with 19 other men of all different backgrounds, race, creases, and cultures. But for one moment, we're all together united in a goal. And just to see how quickly 20 men all focused on one goal, what we can accomplish. And there's nothing in the world that beats that feeling. I just love it. You know, that's the one thing I do miss, and I'm sad that I'm not out there this year. But it is what it is. You know, I feel like I have to grow and adapt with change. I feel that's what the greatest fighters do. You know, and that's what I am at heart. And if, you know, it's time for me to turn in my tool, turn in my Pulaski, and do something else, then that's what I'm here to do. You know.
So stepping into a cage is nothing compared to stepping in front of a fire, I suppose, is it?
It's just different. It's just different. You know, I take it very seriously. I always think every day that I might possibly die in that cage as well. You know, I don't joke around. This is for the real shit. You know, I'm gambling my life, my health, my reputation. And you know what? If I go in there, the times that I chose to like try and protect myself, or the times that I thought I was afraid I was going to lose, that's when I lost. So my idea is going in there is, you know what? Whatever happens, I'm going to accept it. But my intention is to go in there to either win or die, and that's it. You know, but it's a different feeling. Am I scared? Of course, but I feel it's more of an ego thing. And as we're firefighting, it's more I'm scared. Like when we call it a flare up. Like when the wind picks up and it burns something really hot, it gets so hot that all the cells in your body are telling you to run. Hobby. My facial hair, especially at the time when I was a young buck, I was Patches O'Houlihan, bro. You know, I didn't have the full beard yet, but you know, you smell your hair being burnt. My hair was long then too. It's all getting burnt, and you could smell that nasty ass smell. And the fear comes not from you possibly dying, although that biological fear is there, but the fear of letting my brothers down is overrides that. And if I run away and I break the line, or I mess up, and now I put my buddies in danger, the guy to my left and the guy to my right, then that feeling of being a coward and not stepping up to being a courageous person, to almost do something godlike, which I feel that's what we were doing out there, to let them down is a bigger fear. You know.
I was speaking to Ola the other day, and it's like I've said a lot about my life because I like doing adventure shit. And the closer I feel to death, well, I think I am, the more alive I feel. Do you feel like it's totally alive when you're in that fighting that fire, and you're having I don't know about you. I bet you're still taking the piss out of your mates when you're doing all that shit as well, when it's getting serious.
You have to.
You know,
you have to, man. You have to, and then that's where I think my sense of humor came from, is that you got to take these very heavy moments where it's like, holy shit, dude, you almost died, bro. Like a rock came flying at your head, hit your helmet off your head. If that thing was just a centimeter lower, you'd be dead. And you kind of got to laugh about it. You kind of got to joke. You got to kind of take the piss out of each other because that's the only way you can kind of comprehend these things sometimes, you know? Or you know, when I was a volunteer, you're in a bad car accident and you see some people, you know, that are dead or whatever. You all got to kind of take the piss out of it because it's the only way you can kind of get over it, you know?
Yeah, so many people are sensitive to that stuff now. If they hear it, they're like, they don't get it. I don't know. It's, people who work in an office just won't understand that.
No, no one, and that's the thing is that, like, what bothers me a lot about a lot of things that are going on around the world is that policies are being made by people who aren't on the front line, who aren't seeing what's going on in the battles, you know. And I mean, we are at a war in a way, with if it is with the virus or whatever, but these first responders, the police, the fire departments, you know, me being back, I'd been gone for almost 4 years from being out of the U.S. and you know, your boy was at a captain's level here. You know, I'm known in the fire community. I'm known in the police community here, and these guys tell me what's going on every day out there. I know there's a lot of heat about with the police and a lot of emergency medical people, but these are the people that are keeping this fucking society together. And you know what? At the end of the day, they're fucking humans too. We all make mistakes, but these motherfuckers are putting themselves down on the line every day. You know, and the only way that we can cope with it is to make jokes out of it. You know?
I'm with you all the way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially where I grew up, like I think Lee was saying, it's like, you know what it's like in north of England? We just fucking, the more friendly you are with someone, the more you fucking be horrible to them. The better you are to someone, the more horrible you are to your mates. Like, it's just weird.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know, and that's why I think I got along with the English so great, because I never heard the term taking a piss, but yeah, we call it, you know, fucking just bullshit, you know, I'm just bullshit with you, man. You know, that's what we always call it. Yeah.
How did you end up back in the US then? So where were you before?
I was in the West Midlands, Wolverhampton. Yeah, so I was staying there. Yeah, I was staying there, and then I bounced around. I went to a few different places. I went to Wigan, went to Manchester. You just kind of checking out the areas, you know. And I mean, I like England a lot. I mean, the weather's kind of fucking. I mean, it's a little too wet for me at times, but
especially now around Manchester. There used to be a company called Goy back in the late 80s, early 90s, and their logo was dodging the rain and bullets. When everyone was shooting each other in Manchester, it was just always pissing.
Yeah, man. So I had to get used to that. But you know what? You know, like I said, I love traveling the world and fighting its people. You know, I felt like there's no better way to get to know a culture. And you know, I'd realize, hey, these motherfucking English guys know how to fucking fight. No wonder they ruled the whole world at one point. You know, it made sense. Yeah, then during this whole COVID thing, I was in talks with a few different gyms of possibly having me coach there, and I was looking to get a visa, and because I had won the FMD title, getting a visa was possible. And then everything started shutting down, and I just wanted to wait out. I was like, okay, well, you know, they just said for 2 weeks. I'll wait out. Then 2 weeks became another 2 weeks, and I was just like, well, maybe I should wait out further. And then I heard it was getting extended again. And by this time, I was like, okay, gyms are closed. And I mean, at the time, everybody was terrified. Nobody wanted to train because no one knew how this was being spread. And then I'd realize, okay, I think about a month in, I'd realize, all right, you know what? Fighting for the foreseeable future is probably done. Teaching jiu-jitsu, teaching MMA, Muay Thai for the future is probably done here for a while. You know, I think they just are starting to open up gyms now, the martial arts gyms. You know, that's a lot of time just to be sitting on my ass, not making money, stuck between being in a tourist visa and a work visa. I was like, you know what, honestly, man, I know this is going to sound like an ignorant American, but like, I was staying with my mate's family, and his mom was like, oh, I hope they don't start with the riots again, because it was right when all the toilet paper was getting taken, right? People were freaking out about toilet paper. And she's just like, oh, Yeah, she's like, oh, I hope they don't start with the riots again, Hov. And I was like, riots? What do you mean riots? 4 years ago in Birmingham, they had a shortage, I believe it was of insulin or some medication. So they started rioting and burning down places. And I was like, what do you mean that people were just going to start rioting over insulin, dude? People are freaking out over toilet paper here. What's going to happen if, like, it's like, I don't have a gun. And, like, from where I'm from in northern... Where I'm from, I mean, I could do all the training in the world. They barely let me in there with my fucking FMD sword, bro. They weren't going to let me into the country with that thing. They said it was an offensible weapon. No, I got to sit there with the customs officer, and he's like, he's sitting there, and he's looking at me, he's looking at the sword, and he's just like, now, mate, so you won this in a fight. Yeah. Instead of giving belts, this organization I fight for, they give out swords. And he's like, well, do you have photos? So I'm showing him photos from the fight and this and that. And I'm explaining to him more. And he's looking at me, looking at the sword. He opens it up. It's a real sword, you know? Like, they custom made that thing for me. That thing's a real sharp blade. And he's like,
sharp as well.
It's completely real, John said. And the guys that made it at the Axe Throwing Company, it's a real sword, you know? And
the ones that you buy over here are always blunted.
Yeah, no, this one was sharp. So that was I was stuck there for an hour and a half trying to convince these guys to let me in with the damn sword. And he's just like, if I let you in, you're not going to be running around London, running around chopping people up like a samurai. And I'm like, no, mate.
Not a problem with that.
Yeah, but I didn't know that, you know? And he's like, all right, we'll let you in, but you got to mail this because this is an offensible weapon here. You know, if you get caught with it, you're going to go to jail. And I was like, all right, well, so if that's an offensible weapon, and I was like, wait a minute, you can't have guns here, dude? What do you mean you can't have guns here? It's like, I'm a trained man, but I can't beat a mob, bro. I'm no John Wick, motherfucker, you know? Like, I like, what do I do? And like, coming from where I grew up here in northern Nevada, like, that was definitely a culture switch for me, because it's like, what happens if people start coming in and breaking down the door? Like, what are we going to do? And it's like, you know, and for me, that was very scary, because I never thought about it, like, growing up in my household, that like, oh wow, this is why the Second Amendment is important to have. Like, this is really important. Like, I come from a home where we have guns. We grow up with guns. That's what we do, and that's what they're for. You know? And I mean, whatever people want to say, what they want to say, but at the end of the day, it was like, it's nice to sleep easy knowing that if something were to happen, I can protect myself. Yeah, that crazy me out.
Knife crime in the UK has gone mad.
Yeah, they want to ban knives.
Yeah, that's big at the moment.
How do you ban?
You can get guns. I used to be. It's been 11 years, probably about just over 20 years since I was doing any criminal activities.
Allegedly.
Got the records. I could buy guns quite easy, and I wasn't exactly that well connected. You know what I mean? So if I wanted guns, you can get. You know.
Yeah, but like a normal citizen can't get one, right?
No, you can't go buy them. Not very easily. You've got to go get a license from the police, and then you've got to go through a load of shit. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's not like the US where you just walk into Walmart, or I was in Texas and there's these big shops at the side of the road. You know what I mean? Selling fire.
Oh yeah, dude. And when I got home, dude, that's the first thing I was excited about. I was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I want to go shoot a fucking gun, bro. I need to know that my aim is still good. I need to know shit's going crazy here too. Fuck it, I gotta get certed up and practice it again, just because, just in case Mad Max comes, your boy's gonna be ready, dude. Leading a fucking gang army across the Nevadan desert here, you know. But
do you hunt?
Huh?
Do you hunt?
Yeah. That's the thing I'm going to be doing this year. I missed the deer tag for deer this season, but I'm going to get into duck hunting this year. Luckily, I got a shotgun for that. Yeah. They got fowl here in the wintertime, so in the fall. So I'm going to be getting involved in that, dude. But you know, that's what I realized too. Like, I love Thailand. You know, Thailand is always my second home. I loved Europe. I love Spain. But something about when I came home to northern Nevada in particular, where I'm from, like, I'd realized why I am the way I am and why the way I think that I think. All my friends that I went to high school with and grew up all came back during this COVID thing because we feel safe here. I mean, I came back. I mean, some people were wearing masks, but at the end of the day, it was like a normal day in goddamn Gardnerville, dude. You know, and it was nice. It was nice. You know, I ran into a friend of mine. He's a naval officer. He came through town. Yeah. And it was just like old days, like when we were all high school, a bunch of us in the front yard. And then, you know, and this is how we knew it was a uniquely Northern Nevada thing. He's like, oh, yeah, here's my baby. Here's the wife. Oh, cool, man. And he's like looking around. You guys want to see my new guns? It's like, yes, we do. MP5s, AR-15. And we're literally in the front yard. Like, think of like a American white picket fence for one brown Mexican dude, 3 different white guys. And we're all in the front yard with like guns that look out of Call of Duty, dude. They got red sights on them, MP5, dude, freaking AR-15s, you know, 30-06s, all sorts of pistols. We're just in the front yard, just aiming, looking at the, you know, at the ground, playing, doing things, you know, just like, wow, this is a nice one, dude. Old lady on one of those like little gator trucks, dude, and just comes by. Hey boys, how you doing? Hey ma'am, we're all right. Just going back to you, dude. It's just like, I was like, this is a uniquely Northern Nevada thing. And you know what? I'm happy with that. I'm all right with that. Yeah. It's like
I call Thailand home. What drew you to Thailand?
I came with well, I was obsessed with martial arts, right? I was just from a fan from UFC. My background being a jiu-jitsu guy and a wrestler. My striking. I'm a brown belt now. I'm Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
I rolled with a purple belt, like, oh, nice one, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah. I got my brown belt over at Team Quest in Thailand. And then, that was awesome, dude. And then I have a purple belt in the 10th Planet System.
Okay.
And, you know, and then my grappling is my strongest part, but my striking was shit when I was an amateur. And I went with my coach, this guy named Glenn Cordoza. He's like my mentor, and honestly, my fighting style, I have emulated because of him. Guy's a world-renowned author, dude. He wrote books like Becoming the Supple Leopard. He also did like BJ Penn, Fedor Emelianenko, Randy Couture, all of Eddie Bravo's instructional books, like, you know, the ones that you see at all the books, and you see the martial arts section. If you look at him, he's done all the writing and the photography for him. So this was So, I mean, and for me to learn, like, I like to talk with people, and he was also the same way. So we would discuss on theory, fighting, you know, different techniques and when to use them. And this was like, you know, for me, as somebody who's like kind of a nerd about it, to find a guy like this who just has so much knowledge about fighting that anything and everything this guy said, I fucking listened. And the first time, before I knew who he was like a myth at the gym that I was training at, Standalone MMA in Chico, California. This guy was like, you know, it's like, oh, Glenn's back in town. Glenn's back, dude. He's gonna come spar with us Tuesday. And like, you hear all these stories, bro. Like, honestly, I feel like people, if they knew who Glenn Cordoza was, they would. All those Chuck Norris memes are inspiration from watching Glenn Cordoza fucking fight. I shit you not. This guy was an amazing athlete. I wish he would have got the shot to get in the UFC, and he just didn't. And I sparred with him for the first time. This guy going to northern Thailand for 8 years to Santai Muay Thai. And I got absolutely terrified. I went and I threw a fucking, you know, that right hand that fucking knocked out that dude. I threw a right hand special. Yeah, man, I threw a fucking right hand at him, dude. I saw it hit him. He goes like this. And next thing you know, bro, all I see is flashes. Just bam, 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 bam. Glenn hits me right in my fucking liver. I start to drop. I'm just holding my hands, but I'm trying to, you know how when you get a liver shot in your body, you just lose control. Oh, it's brutal, dude. It's so brutal. I couldn't keep my hands up. I'm like, why are my hands? And as I'm dropping, he's still hitting me on the way down. And he's just like, well, listen, dude, if you go hard, I will go hard with you. And I was like, okay, let's go light.
My first ever sparring in boxing, I was sparring against a guy called Christian. I can't pronounce his surname. And he's an Italian guy. He was a WBC intercontinental champion, and I cracked him with my first shot. And then he's hitting me for the next 3 rounds, and I'm going, I'm sure he's hitting me harder than all the other people. And then a couple of weeks later, someone says, you cracked him with your first shot, and then he just beat you up after that.
I know,
and
dude.
that was one of them.
It's one of them.
Like, yeah, you want to go that pace? Yeah, that's what we'll go at then.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. That's when I first learned that. That's when that's when I understood the power of Muay Thai. And after that, you know, that following summer, after my fire season was done, I had saved up a bunch of money, and I was debating either going to Brazil to study Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or to go to Thailand. And my head coach, Jason Peets, at the time, he said, why don't you go? Glenn's already there. Why don't you go? And I was like, Glenn's there? You think he'd help me out? And he's just like, yeah, contact him. Let him know that you're coming. And that's how I did it. I followed him. I followed Glenn up to Chiang Mai, where I first started training. You know, and then I bounced around, went to the islands, went to Bangkok, and you know, I just fell in love with the culture, fell in love with the people, I fell in love with this art, because Muay Thai was still such a mystery to me, and just going to all the fights in Bangkok, you know, back then, that's when they still had the Lumpini Stadium, you know, and seeing that era and that time of Muay Thai, you know, I just fell in love with it, and so I ended up going back after every fire season. You know,
how long ago when did you first go to Thailand?
2012.
2012. Okay.
Yeah, and then 2013, I stayed for about 6 months training over at Fighting Spirit Gym with Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Stanley. I don't know if you remember Stanley and all those guys.
Never went there. I only met him when he came to Canterbury.
Yeah, and and then I just kept coming every year after that, man. And I guess in 2017, that's when I knocked that guy out, and things kind of changed. My career picked up, and the guys at Bangkok Fight Lab said, maybe you should just stay, bro, and see if this works for you. So I called my boss up, and I said, hey, you know, I have an opportunity here in Thailand to fight full time. You know, what do you think? And you know, my boss at the time, this guy named Jeff Aniga, he was awesome. He had said, listen, man, how old are you? And I was like 27. How long have you been firefighting and been involved? Well, since I was 15. How long is that? About 10 years? Yeah, about 10 years. So you're already miles ahead of people. Look at you. You're in a captain's position at 26 years old. You have tons of experience. And you're dedicated. That's why I hired you, because you said that you were a fighter. I knew you were disciplined. I knew you had hard work ethic, you know, and you know, you get your shit together when the chips are down, you're there. And I think if you pass up on this moment, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. You can be a firefighter until you're 55 years old, but you can be a fighter for only how long? Maybe 32, 33, if that, you know?
People get a good 10 years out of it. They're doing well, aren't they?
Yeah.
At a professional level, I mean.
Yeah, and then eventually, you know, age and just the game passes you at a certain point. And he says you only have a small window to be a professional fighter. You know, take that. And if people look at your resume or your CV and say, why do you got a 4 or 5 year job gap of you not firefighting? Say, well, I was a professional mixed martial artist fighting in a underground MMA organization in Bangkok, Thailand, where I eventually became the champion in the face of the organization. Oh, okay. Well, you know, and people will hire me off of that. That's how I got most of my fire jobs. It's like, what do you do in the off season? It's like, I just train. I want to try and become a professional mixed martial artist. And just that alone had gotten me always jobs, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For most people, especially in that game, they're going to be interested in fighting as well, aren't they? I should imagine. Most people are.
Oh, yeah, dude. And so he said, just do it, man. You know, just do it. And then I never looked back, you know? And I'm glad I didn't, you know, especially now with how everything is. You know, as much as I am upset that like I felt my career finally started to get a lot of momentum, starting to get a lot of eyes on me. Now it was cut. Like I had that moment where I was like, oh, everything's over, everything's ruined. But then I look back on my life and it's like, dude, I mean, you understand about Thailand, just the experiences and the people that you meet and the culture itself and fighting and especially the way I was fighting, we're all of us are all a part of the FMD crew. I mean, you were always there too. It's like we're all part of like a real life action movie, like a real fucking Bruce Lee martial arts movie, a real fucking blood sport. You know, it's like I am Jean-Claude Van Damme, bro. Like I'm not faking it. I am really Jean-Claude Van Damme. You know, and it's like, well, the whole experience. You know, this really is a real life Mortal Kombat that we're doing. Like that's what I think people are missing out on and don't understand about FMD is that everybody pretends to be this thing, but we really are it. We're realer than real can get, you know. And I feel so grateful.
I've not been to UFCs and I've been to one FC, and I go there and you sit there and you're miles away from the cage. And there's this, they try to create an atmosphere with girls shooting T-shirts and walking and all this. But when I'm at FMD, like, I don't know, there's something, you're there, you can grab the cage, you know what I mean? Like,
it's just the like you said.
Nightclub, you know, and it's just like a normal nightclub's going on, and there's fights going on as well, and then it's just a bit chaotic and
what more do you? Yeah, it's raw. It's real.
John, isn't he? You know what I mean? John's an entertainer, so there's always something. He's always doing something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, come on, dude. He coming out and playing the Enter the Sandman, dude. You know, like just fucking singing his ass off, and then he sings the Thai national anthem, and he sings it well, dude. Like that always brings, like, I don't know why, man. Like, every now and then when I get homesick for Thailand, I'll play the Thai national anthem because it reminds me of John singing it in the beginning. You know, you're downstairs getting your hands taped, you hear him singing the song upstairs, and, you know, it just the whole setting and the mood and like, I mean, it's one thing to see it on live stream, but to be at a live show. And, you know, like, I know for my people that come to watch, dude, they're partying. They're usually right there, VIP. You know, I'm having a guy wedged up in a corner. They're grabbing. They're just yelling at me. Oh, me kick his ass. Kick his ass. Yeah. Yeah. And they're grabbing. They're trying to grab at you, you know, and it's just like the feeling in the atmosphere. It's like, dude, it's like nothing else. Like you said, it's like one. I mean, I'm not going to talk how I feel about one, but you know, there's a pageantry to it. There's like, you know, they can't call them fighters. They call them combat athletes or whatever. And then the UFC kind of has their, you know, it's like kind of like the last time I went to a UFC fight in Las Vegas, it just felt bougie. Like it was only me, you know, there watching the whole show. Nobody showed up until the last two fights, you know.
Like a boxing match.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, well, can I go sit down there? No, you can't. Well, why not? There's nobody here. Well, you can't. We can't. And I was like, you know, and just something about FMD. It's like it's the best of everything. We're in one of the most visited city in the world of fucking Bangkok, Thailand. You know, I mean, it's the world's your oyster in Bangkok, dude. You know, it makes the hard man humble, dude. It's a crazy city that has an energy in itself. Yeah,
it makes the humble hard, I think.
That's true too, dude. And now you're doing the two things people love most: partying and fighting. Even in a basketball game, if a fight breaks out in a crowd, everybody's watching a fight. You know, so you get a one of a kind experiences that is uniquely Bangkok, Thailand, and I think that's what fucking FMD is. Yeah.
That's why people go watch ice hockey, innit? You know what I mean? Sometimes a game of ice hockey breaks out.
Yeah. You know? Everybody wants to watch a fight. Everybody wants to watch.
Tell me about a 5-second knockout, man. How did you feel after that? Because it's like, did you in 5 seconds, wasn't it? Or was it less?
Well, I don't know. I mean, one guy One guy says that if they mark it from the initial knockout, which they think that knocked him out, they would say it was 2.1 seconds. Hitting him down. The rest were just the five. I think I threw another 5 hammer fists at his head just because I hated the guy. I wanted to shut him up. Those were the extra punches. I knew I knocked him out, but the rest of the punches were just to shut him up because the guy talked so much shit, Russ. This guy talked so much shit leading up to the fight, and I don't know where in this guy's head that he thought that he was going to beat me. But I'm glad it ended so fast because that's how much time I wanted to give to that guy because that dude, like, I felt like he the whole backstory is that he was offered a fight with John, or John offered him a fight. He turns it down because his girlfriend at the time or whatever said no, she didn't want him to fight. So then a few weeks go by. The guy shows up in like, okay, it's 2 weeks, it's a week and a half out, right? I'm supposed to be fighting some Iranian guy out of AKA. The Iranian guy decides to pull out. I'm fucking bummed. You know, I just did a whole fight camp. And this is my second professional fight, and I'm super bummed because this happened to me a few times in these states where I do a whole fight camp to where then my opponent disappears or he's injured or whatever pussy bullshit that they wanted to say, whatever excuse. Guy pulls out. This dude, fucking Ryan Fellner, shows up to Bangkok Fight Lab hoping that if he just shows up that they're going to give him a fight. He shows up to my jiu-jitsu class. This is when I'm starting to teach jiu-jitsu at Bangkok Fight Lab. You know, I'm wearing my gi. I'm trying to be nice and friendly, shaking everybody's hands. I get to Homeboy at the end. Homeboy doesn't know how to tie his belt, which is fine, you know, and I was like, okay, he's an American. He doesn't understand, you know, like maybe he comes from a wrestling background. I've had guys like this before. And I try to help him out. And he kind of like told me to give him some space. So I was like, okay, a little bit rude, but let's go with it. I already kind of don't like him. But I'm trying to be nice, you know. I'm trying to be Javier Trujillo, the friendly coach, the crew. Nice guy. I was like, all right, dude, you try and keep tying your belt all knotted up weird. Okay, fine. Whatever. I put him with a younger guy. I thought it'd be good for him, a younger Thai fella. He's really rough with them, so I was a little upset about it. I didn't want to put him with any of the girls because I knew he looked like he was under control. But I figured it'd be good for this younger Thai kid. You know, trying to see like how he would do. It was really rough for the kid, so I said, "Okay, dude, let's get it rolling." I knot him up, dude. I'm a fucking wizard when I hit the ground. I knot this guy up like a fucking pretzel 3 times.
He took me out. So.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that I'm good, like, you know what I mean, but I remember you talking me out.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, I don't know. It was just so gratifying, but he still didn't get the lesson. And that's what bothered me. And he wouldn't even shake my hand afterwards. Like, just everything about the guy immediately, I didn't like him. I thought he was extremely disrespectful. You know, I came from a traditional Taekwondo background when I first started. So I'm used to being like saying, hello, sir, yes, sir, bowing, doing all that stuff. And then when I transitioned into jiu-jitsu and all that stuff, that etiquette kind of never went away. So when I felt like when I tried to shake somebody's hand or like it's like, listen, dude, I just tapped you out 4 times. Like, you know, at least address me and say, no, you didn't want to. And then so after the thing, he was just like, yeah, I'm out here, you know, trying to get a MMA fight. This and that, you know, talking to John Nutt, you know, this guy, he's kind of, what did he call this guy? The way he talked, bro, I know he's from the South. He's like, oh, this John Nutt, this promoter guy, dude, he thinks he's so slick. I bet he could talk into sleeping with a Catholic nun, you know what I'm saying? It's just like these promoters. I'm like, dude, just shut up. And then so he says, yeah, MMA fighter. So then I was like, oh, I get to hit this guy. I'm going to invite him to class. Hey, dude, so you're a professional MMA fighter? He's like, yeah. And I was like, okay. We have team practice here on Tuesdays, the sparring, dude. You should come in. And he's like, yeah, great, I'll come in. You know, he comes in, we're training, and I mean, he knows some stuff, but like I knew I was going to beat him, and I was being nice. Guy was still disrespectful. My opponent pulls out. Homeboy decides to step up and take it. Now I feel even more disrespected because it's like, dude, I have already fucked you up. And he started talking shit. He started talking a lot of shit, Russ. He said he was going to whoop my ass. He was going to do this and that. And then, you know, Tommy Hayden, like he was like running the team at the time. We're in the locker room and he's like, Hobby, do you want us to like kick this guy out, dude? Like you're a boy. We're, you know, it's like, no. You know what? And I was so angry in the locker room because I was just frustrated with this guy. And I was like, no, let him train. Just keep him away from me. because now he's making it fucking personal. Just keep him away from me, and he can still train here. I don't want to scare him off because I really want to fuck this guy up now, Tommy. I really want to fuck him up. You know what? And he's just like, all right. So he went over there with one of the Thai trainers, went to the far side corner, hit some pads, hit in the bag, whatever. I'm working in the cage, dude. And every time I'm working, I get up, I see him looking at me, and I start yelling, I start talking shit to him. It's like, hey, bro, the more you keep staring at me, the better I get at whooping your fucking ass. You better fucking pay attention to your bag, bro. So we're sitting there chit-chatting. You know, that FMD, they had Jason Mayhem Miller, fucking, one of the commentators. So he does the weigh-ins. Homeboy's screaming at me. I'm screaming at him, dude. Fucking Jason's like, God damn, dude, this is all fucking intense, man. Like, this is crazy. You know, these boys are ready to go at it, huh? You know? And because that was at the old in Club Insanity off of, what was it, Soy 12? So I'm trying to remember now. You know what I'm talking about? It's like right before you hit off Soy.
The old Soy.
Yeah, the old Insanity.
Yeah, off Succumbit.
Yeah. So the old Insanity, if you remember right now, like at the new one, we're all warming up in the garage, in the parking garage. Yeah. The old one, we were outside of the club, and there's just like a corner wall that's separating us just a little bit. We still can see each other training. And one of my friends, he comes up because he's in the other corner, and he's just like, oh, like a little Asian Singaporean fellow running up, and he's like, Hobby. And I was like, what? He's like, bro, that dude is talking mad shit about you, bro. He's saying, fuck Hobby, he's a piece of shit. He says you suck, bro. Like, I don't know where this guy keeps saying this stuff, bro. Like, you're going to fuck him up. And I'm like, I know, dude. And he's like, well, what do you, he's like, oh, I was like, don't worry, dude. He's going to get it. He's going to get his. Don't worry. And he's like, oh, he's going to fucking get his. He's like, bro, he's talking mad shit. Like, I'm not even joking. He's talking, and the anger is boiling up in me. And I was like, dude, I just can't wait to get my hands on him. I can't wait to get my hands on this guy. And I'm going to show him what is up when you just sit there and you disrespect somebody for no reason. You know, where I come from, man, like my parents grew up as gang members before my mom moved us out to the country. My parents, I grew up watching them fight, bro. Like, my mom is like the Jorge Masvidal of fucking San Diego, dude. I've seen that chick get in so many street fights growing up, you know, and same with my pops. You know, so where we come from, when somebody clearly disrespects you like that, it's put up or shut up, bro. And so, like, all this is building up. And then I come into the ring, getting my little thing going on. The homeboy comes in. He started doing this shit, talking shit, telling the people on my side, you know, all my buddies are talking shit to them in the corner. He's like, fuck you guys. Your fucking boy's going down, blah, blah, blah. And, dude, I just, like, was like, okay, I'm going to have my time. I'm going to fuck this dude up. And then, Dana Bullen fucking goes, he's like, you guys ready? You know, there's so much tension that we're both like trying to go at each other because I wanted to fuck this guy up, Ross. I wanted to fuck him up so bad, bro. And Dana's telling us to step back so he can fucking call it. We're trying to go. He's like, step back. And he's like, ready, fight. Homeboy just was like this, and he just runs at me, dude, full sprint. And then the last minute, like, everything just slowed down, and Homeboy's hands drop. And I was like, no way.
So it wasn't, you didn't have a dissatisfied feeling after it of like, I've got all this energy now, and how do you feel after? Because I think after putting a camp in and then, but now I get the okay, like, yeah, fuck you, mate.
Dude, like, yeah, once I felt that punch, I felt that clean, dude, just like that. I knew it was clean. I felt his body and his weight just start to drop, and I knew he was out. But I wasn't going to let him get away with just one punch. I'm not going to let him get away. So I hit him with like probably 5 or 6 hammer fists right to the side of his head. I think the 4th or 5th one woke him up. Next thing you know, he's hugging on Dana, dude, just giving Dana a big old hug, you know. And next thing you know, he gets up and he's like, I'm totally fine. Nothing happened. But you know what? You know what makes it even more satisfying? Is people ask me throughout my whole fight career, it's like, well, have you ever ended somebody's career, Hobby? You ever broken somebody's arm or knocked them out or anything like that? And it's like, no, I haven't. I have not. But what I have done is that I've embarrassed somebody so much that he cannot show his face in this sport anymore. You ever heard of Ryan Feltner anymore? He just disappeared.
Yeah,
you know what?
You shouldn't be watching too many Conor McGregor videos, should you, if you're not very good?
Yeah. Well, I showed him exactly how much of my time he was worth, you know. You're going in there with a fucking professional where this is my life, bro. This has been my life since I was 15 years old, and how dare you sit there and disrespect me thinking that you can come in with 0 to no training. You are just going to walk over me. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I showed you how much my time you're worth. And if you want to do it again, fuck it, bro. I'll show you it again. I'll do it faster this time. Fucking Masvidal, bro. You know, fucking Street Jesus ain't got nothing on me, bro. I'm fucking Street Jesus Nate Diaz mixed. You know.
I don't really want to remind you about this fight, but I've got to bring it up. It was your one loss when you stepped up in weight.
Yeah.
And I wasn't happy. You broke that kid. Wait. It's not what you think. You broke that kid's cup. And, like, they're changing it. He passes me the cup. So I'm fucking holding the cup, aren't I? And then I'm like, what the fuck do I do with this? I'm going to cover it, so I'll put the cup down. And then I'm like that with my hand out for the rest of the fight because I couldn't go and wash my hands. I'm like, I'm trying to keep my hand as far away from me as possible.
I know, man. I know, dude. You know what, man? He'll always have that one win over me, I guess. I don't know if I'll ever get his fight Matty again, but, you know, fucking, it is what it is. I learned a lot, bro. You know what? Like, life outside before that fight was pretty crazy for me. I had a lot of transitions going on. No excuse, because it was the only excuse that I have is that I didn't take him fucking seriously as I should have. And that was my fucking problem. You know, riding high, riding off a 3-win fight streak. You know, I'm the fucking baddest man in Thailand, in Bangkok, bro. Everybody wants to train with me. Everybody wants to hang out with me. And you know what? I partied a little bit. I hung around people that weren't good for my circle, and I didn't take that fight seriously. And because of that, you know, like, and I lost, and I gave up. You know, like I just got finished and telling you that, you know, I'm willing to die in there, and I tapped.
Yeah,
because I knew for one moment I want out. I don't want to do this no more.
Fair play, dude. That takes a lot to admit that.
Yeah, you know? and you know what? That was like, you know what? This ain't me. I gotta fix some shit. I gotta learn from this, and that's what I took from it. You know, but you know what? When homeboy fought fucking when he fought Glenn Sparv, dude, before the fight, right? I fought the Cookie Monster, dude, Vinod Guayral, fucking awesome guy. Had a great fight, dude. Lighting him up on the feet. That was an awesome fight. I get down, I'm charged, dude. That's like after the year after the Medi fight. You know, I felt like I redeemed myself. I avenged my loss. And homeboy's still down there. Medi's down there, just warming up. Glenn comes out first, and before he does, I go and buy like at the Boone shop. I went and bought like a little kid's Thai steel cup. So before he walked out, I was like, "Hey, Matty, just in case your cup gets swapped, so that way you don't get too much of a break, bro. Here's one just for you, just in case you need it from your boy." You know, and he got the joke, dude, and he took it. He even took it. He's like, "Thanks, man." And I was just like, "Hey, just looking out for you, man. I don't want nothing bad to happen in there. Got you a steel cup, you know." Can't be wearing these plastic Junior Pee Wee Pop Warner fucking cups, bro. This is MMA fighting. Yeah, but that was it.
Is that what you moved up to Team Quest, didn't you? Was that after that fight?
No, I was still in Bangkok for a little bit. I think, so actually, yeah, that would be the Grey Wall fight was the last time I fought with Elite.
You started in Bangkok Fighting Spirit, then went to Bangkok Fight Lab, and then what was the one with Tommy Hayden? What was he running? Is that still going?
Yeah, and then it was with Elite Fight Club. We all moved over to Elite Fight Club for a bit. Yeah. And then, you know, gym politics and this and that. Tommy ended up leaving. A few other guys followed, and then I was left with nobody to run the camp because I was teaching the jiu-jitsu there. Luckily, my fucking boy, my friend, I think, you know, in this game, you meet a lot of people who are around when you're winning. But when you lose or when you're in hard times, that's when you see who really are your friends. And Zidov Akuma, I think, is is a gem in the fight game as a person, as a coach, and as a human being, because he stepped up when everything falling apart for that camp, he brought in guys. He brought in 2 Brazilian black belt and a Muay Thai Brazilian champion to be my training partners in the fight camp, and he ran my fight camp for me. He knew I was already teaching, and I was already overwhelmed with trying to run my own camp, and he stepped up. He taught me real Muay Thai. You know, I mean, I've learned a lot from all my different Thai trainers, but I think because of the language barrier, sometimes things get lost in translation. And Zidov spoke very good English, and he speaks Thai, and he's been fighting professionally for a very long time. And that's when I was preparing to fight for Daniel Kerr before he pulled out. And Daniel Kerr is a high level Muay Thai guy, and I was absolutely terrified. It's like, what if this guy stuffs my takedown and I'm forced to strike? And Zidov took away that last bit of fear that I had about Muay Thai. He took away the mystery of it, and you know, for that, I will always be grateful, you know, and having a good buddy like him. And then after that, I decided to make the transition up to Team Quest, because it's like I could stay and teach here at Elite and get a work visa that way. But now I'm just a teacher, you know, I'm no longer a fighter. And the whole reason I came out here was to fight. And so I felt like I owed it to myself that, you know what, I need to go to a place where I'm just a teammate again, where I'm not running my own camp, or I'm not trying to build my own gym. I'm just, I want to just dedicate myself to just being a fighter again, you know. And I can teach when I'm older, but I can only fight for a certain amount of time, and I didn't want to lose sight of that.
Because I remember you were trying to get a fight with Dylan at one point, weren't you?
Yeah, dude, but I was absolutely terrified, bro. I watched that guy fight, you know, and I knew that'd be a rough fucking day. Any day with a fellow wrestler is a rough-ass day. I don't care who the hell you are. And, you know, I mean, not only do I fight for FMD, but I love watching FMD fights, and I watched all of Dylan's fights. You know, I saw that, and in training with Dylan, I guarantee, like, majority of the times he would whip my ass in a fight. I really do think so. You know, he has a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and, you know, we both fight at the same weight class. And when I moved up there and I sparred with him for the first time, I was like, oh, shit, dude, homeboy's real deal. but
I sparred with him. I just rolled with him once, and he sort of, just before he tapped me out, he looked across to my mate, winked at him, and then tapped me out.
Oh, that sounds about right. Yeah, when I rolled gi with him, dude, he just got me in a position where I couldn't do nothing, man. I couldn't do nothing, and I was just like, wow, dude, okay, like I can learn a lot from him, and I did, and you know, I learned a lot.
A guy as well. I mean,
great guy. Great guy.
You know.
Yeah.
So I lived in a short time, and yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, them, and then the team. You know, not that, like, not to say that I had like a little bit of a breakdown when I was in Bangkok, but I was just kind of tired of, you know, just like I felt like I kind of lost sight of what like my intentions were about living out there and living in Thailand and doing it. And I felt like the reset of moving to Chiang Mai and getting out of the city. I realized too, man, that time in Bangkok, I love Bangkok. I know I'm the baddest man in Bangkok. It's my city. I know I'm the hometown boy. I love my home, but god damn it, dude, I need nature, man. I need the country. You know, I grew up around rivers. I grew up fighting fires, man. Like, something about being in the mountains just it gives me a peace of mind and kind of gives me a reality check that sometimes the hustle and bustle of the city kind of takes away, you know. And it gave me time to think, and it gave me time to reflect, man. And you know, when I made that move up there, and you know, the saying at Team Quest is good vibes only. You know, we don't got no egos here. We don't got no wannabe Conor McGregors. We don't got none of that shit. We ain't got nobody who's better than anybody else on the team. No divas. We're here to work, and we're here to all get better at this fucking sport. And you either contribute and you be a good dude and a good fucking training partner, or we don't want you. And I've meshed right away with everybody there, because all these guys want to work hard, man. And I wanted to work hard too. They elevated my game and I elevated theirs. And I think because of those guys of that team, like Jack Ferguson will be fighting on that card soon, on this next FMD card. I'm excited to see him. One of my teammates, Cole Kibasa, who's the wrestling coach there. Amr, my hair dude, you know, there's a lot of good talent on that team that's already fought for FMD. And I mean, they're still in Thailand, so I'm sure they're going to be on these next cards. You know, I'm sad I won't be with them.
I think John put on that he's down in Phuket this weekend. So
yeah, scouting. I know. I was talking to a few guys. He's out there scouting. He's doing the right things, and I hope my boys they get a shot, and I hope they do it because those guys elevated me to become a champion. You know, and I think without them, I wouldn't have not just the sword. The sword is whatever. To be a champion is a mind state, and that's what those guys gave me. You know.
So what else do you like about Thailand? I love it there. It's where I call home now. So apart from the fighting bit and training, what's your take on it? Why should people visit there?
Man, I've always been a fan of Buddhism. I love the stories about it. You know, I mean, it's one of the last Buddhist countries in the world. When I spent time in Chiang Mai, I went to a few different Buddhist temples. Sorry, there's a dog in the background. But
it's okay.
Yeah. But I really love that aspect about it. I love the concept of just sabai, man. It's like, you know, being an American and being a Mexican American, it's like, yo, bro, we're fucking, it's extra bajo, dude. Like, we're here at work. This shit should have been done 3 days ago, bro. Where's the fucking hustle? And like being in Thailand, it's like, whoa, bro, sabai, like, relax. It'll get done, man. Yeah. Enjoy your life. You only got a little bit for a little while, and don't take it too seriously. You know, I think that mind state of like, you know, things are real serious and then they're not in Thailand. Like, if that makes sense. Like, you know, it's just the whole vibe of the land of smiles, the rich history of it, and obviously the people, man. I mean, I've had so many wonderful adventures, you know, going around the islands, going around in the mountains, fun little adventures in Bangkok, dude. And you just never know where it takes you. You never know who you're going to run into. You never, and that sense of, okay, today could be a normal day, and then tomorrow I could be on some crazy adventure. And that's what I loved about it. It's just no day was ever the same, you know? And
it's a lot more relaxed. I find that's why the pace of life's a little bit slower, and just everything seems a little bit easier for me. And great food.
Yeah, the great food. You know, I mean, and that's what I loved about it. And then, like, being an expat and you meet other expats from all over the world, you kind of are easier to make friends because it's like, okay, I'm a weirdo. I couldn't mesh in my country. Obviously, you're a weirdo too. You couldn't mesh in your country, and we're all here. We chose this place, so I'm already friends with you because the fact that you had the balls to do it. Because I mean, I'm sure you felt being home. I get people all the time, man, Hobby, I see what you're out there doing. It's like, I don't know, I could never do that. I've never left the country. I don't know if I could. I'm scared.
A lot of people more say to me, I wish I could do that. It's like, you fucking can. Can't you? It's up to you. You know what I mean? Just do it. You know, and that, you know, and a lot of people think about things and just don't do it. That's what it's sort of taken for a lot of that stuff. Like,
but it's scary. It's scary to go to I mean, I remember the first time I went. I got a place down on a Khao San Road, dude, and I think my flight landed at like 3 in the morning. You know, the best time, you know, to be on Khao San at 3 a.m. in the morning, just like nothing but like lady boys with fucking facial, who, you know, more 5 o'clock shadow, bro, with shoulders like Dwight Howard out of basketball. It was like, you want to come home with me? I'll smoke a cigarette. I was like, no, you know, like seeing all the weird like squiggles, you know, with the Thai writing, and you're just like, what the hell, dude? Like, I don't, like, for a brief moment, I'm thinking in my head is like, I think I made a terrible mistake. But that was part of the adventure, you know. Yeah, that was always the part of the adventure, though, you know, and I loved it, man. I love it. It'll always be my home from home, you know.
Will you go back to the UK?
Huh?
Or will you go back to the UK, or will you stay? What are you going to do after this now?
dude, I have no idea, man. I mean, I feel like the whole world, we're at a weird spot, man. And I mean, I'm trying to do what I can. You know, I feel things happen for a reason, and I felt like I was supposed to come home, and I've reconnected with my family. You know, when I have a young nephew, his name's Mason. You know, I started to train him this last month. I'm training him in Muay Thai and Jiu Jitsu. And I used to always harp on myself because I'd wish that maybe somebody would have brought me on earlier to fight, that maybe I could have been a world champion in my early 20s. And I was always upset about it. And now here I have my nephew, who's, you know, his birthday is a few days after mine. And the more I'm around him, I can, his personality, he reminds me of me. And so it's like, I don't have a son. I don't have my own family. But here I have somebody who reminds me a lot of myself. And now, like, I want to teach him, you know. And, you know, that's been a great experience in itself, because it's like just to kind of pass on that knowledge. And like the other day, I was holding pads for him, you know, tell him to step by side, throw the kick. And now he finally gets it, and I see it in his eyes. It's like, well, you see the power now, right? And he's like, yeah, Theo. I mean, in Spanish, it means uncle. Like, yeah, dude, like it's, you know, this is fun. And I'm like, it is fun, right? And he's just like, I love this. And it's just to see that brightness, that it reminded me why I love fighting so much, and what I loved about it. And, you know, being there as a positive role model in his life, and coming back to like where I all started. You know, this is where I started wrestling. This is where I started fighting. For it to come back full circle, you know, and all the people that, you know, I looked up to, and now they're like, Javi, like, welcome home, dude. Like, you want to train here? You want to run a Muay Thai class? You want to run jiu-jitsu? You're here, man. This is your home. We have your back. And, you know, it was nice coming home, because for some reason I just thought nobody was watching at home. I didn't think people were paying attention to what I was doing. I mean, I know some people were, but coming home and running into all these people around town, and everybody saying, Javi, hey man, we were all watching you, dude. You know, we not show the likes, maybe we don't mention in comments, but everybody was watching you. And we're fucking proud of you, dude. You made it out of this small cow town, dude. You showed everybody what we're about. And, you know, you're our boy. You know, you're our fucking boy. And so I think that just kind of showed me, it's like, okay, I had to come home for a reason. Maybe all this COVID stuff made me realize, yo, you got to slow down. You got to realize what's important. And I realized family, good friends, and being able to help give back to my community by teaching them what I learned in Thailand and what I learned fighting around the world, you know, and bringing it back to the small area of Northern Nevada, and showing my people what I learned, you know. And I'm okay with that. And if fights happen again, if I can get on a flight back to Thailand to fight for FMD, you know, I'd be on it. If Bareknuckle Boxing wants me to fight again, you know, I'll do it here. If somebody wants to offer me a fight in the States, of course, because I am a fighter. It doesn't matter. I'm training every day. This is my life, man. This is what I do.
Which you prefer to fight, Bareknuckle or MMA?
Depends. I like both, man. You know, if you know, I'm training for both. I've now meshed my MMA style of striking to match what I would think would happen in another Bareknuckle boxing fight. So, you know, I'm always prepared. I'm always adapting. I'm adding new elements to my game. I'm never stagnant. And this, like I said, man, this is not something I do. It's just who I am, like brushing my teeth every day. I'm out shadow boxing. I'm out working out. I'm out training, you know. And if the opportunity comes, I'm ready. If somebody says, Harvey, you want to fight for the welterweight UFC championship of the world, you got 2 weeks. Can you do it? I say, fuck yeah, I can do it. And definitely I'll take that.
Wicked, mate. What do you do for your downtime then, when you're not training?
Man, just bullshitting with my friends, dude. Main part. You know, I got my own YouTube channel going now. I'm doing podcasts and showing like interviews and stuff like that. So that's been fun. And you know, just more importantly, just hanging out, reconnecting with a lot of friends that I hadn't met. Talking with them, just going camping, going hiking. I do a lot of hiking out here. Like I forgot, man. This is like one of the most beautiful. Yeah, you can look on my Instagram, man. I'm always showing me hiking around the local areas. You know, this is where I grew up. This is my home. And just going out and running again, dude, is just what I love doing. Just being out in nature. Yeah. You know?
Trying to get back into running again. I went out the other day. I haven't done anything for 3 months because I've been stuck in an Airbnb. And it's like, oh, it hurt.
Yeah, man. That and shooting guns. I really like shooting guns a lot.
What guns do you own?
What
guns do you shoot?
AR-15s. Trying to get really good at a Glock. I'm trying to get into the private security business, so I need to get like a concealed weapons carry. I have to pass a few shooting tests, go through a few courses and certifications, and then I want to work in the private security business as well. You know, I think once fighting gets done, I need something that kind of takes that you know, that risk. I need that risk factor always in life, or otherwise just life's a little bit dull, you know. And starting to learning how to deal with handguns and rifles and learning the art of it. You know, I have a lot of friends that are competitive shooters, and in exchange for teaching them some whatever martial arts, you know, they're teaching me how to shoot guns. And I can see the art in it, you know. I think it's Musashi Miyamoto quote. It's like once you can see the way broadly in one way, you can see it in all others. And I can respect the art. I can respect the skill and the practice that it takes. Just coming from a martial arts background, and now applying that process to using weapons, particularly handguns and all that. That like I've realized that the weapon is just an extension of yourself, and that journey has been fun to learn. And you know, I'm continue to proceed that until I get to the equivalent of whatever a black belt is, and. Yes, all right. I think my overall goal, Russ, is just to be the most dangerous man in the world. That's all I'll ever want to be.
Any place, anytime, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Like Will Choke was saying, I'd love to do a Vale Tudo fight. I'm guessing you're in that same mold.
Absolutely. Well,
no rules, anything you want. Punch in the nuts. Yeah.
Yep. I'll do it once, man. I definitely do it, you know, just to show, because I always thought that about MMA. The feeling is that, okay, you and me, we meet in a dark alley, and we fight to the death. I'm going to bet all the chips on that. I'm going to stand back up, bro. You know, and Will's the same way, dude. We were just dudes that just, you know, like I said, like a fucking pit bull or like a fucking fighting gamecock rooster, dude. This is what we do. This is what we're bred to do, you know, and there's nowhere else I'd rather be. And then in that cage or in that ring or it could be on the street. I don't care. I mean, it's just, I love it. It's so much fun to me, you know, and I feel fortunate that I got to do what I love, because I meet a lot of people, particularly a lot of men who just compromise in their life. You know, I think it's a Emerson quote. It's like they're, if you look at a grave site and you look at the headstones, it's a bunch of men that all had a song in their heart that they wanted to sing, but they never did. And I wanted to know that the world knew who Javier fucking Trujillo was. And Javier Trujillo was one of the baddest men to ever walk this fucking planet. And that's what I want them to say.
Wicked, man. On that note, I think we'll call it, man, because I don't think he's going to get better than that quote.
No worries, man. That sounds good to me, brother. That sounds good to me.
Peace out, brother. Thanks very much for tonight.
Absolutely, dude, man. Thank you again, man.
It's great chatting and catching up with you, man. Hopefully I'll catch up with you soon in person.
For sure, dude. Hopefully the whole world opens up, dude. You know, it can be good to see you in person. Be like, Russ, I haven't seen you since the plague, brother. How you been? It'll be fun, man. Hopefully soon. I hope very soon.
Yeah. Cool, man. I'll cut it now anyway. But hopefully I can get back to Thailand on a student visa. I think I can get in on that, like.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Before we cut, I'll just do a quick plug, dude. Okay, if any of you guys are interested in following me, dude, sorry, like I said, self promotion, self promotion. Any new fighters watching this, self promotion is fucking key. If you want to find me or contact me, you look me up at Hobby Trujillo .MMA on Instagram. If you want to find me on Facebook, just contact me through there for Javier Trujillo. And you guys can find all my stuff on there. If you want to help support me, dude, I have t-shirts and brandings. Just give me a message. I ship everywhere in the world, and all that money comes to helping me to fucking travel the world and continue to travel the world and fight as people, man. You guys love what I do, and you want to support me. That's how you can help me support me, is buying either one of my shirts or coming out and checking out my fights, bro. So either way, dude, you can support your local fucking Ultimate Honey Badger, man. Thanks again.
I was just about to say, get some Honey Badger merchandise.
Heck yeah, dude. Coming up with some new designs soon.
Before we cut, I said I cut a minute ago.
Yeah, no worries, dude.
How did you come up with Honey Badger?
I didn't come up with that name. My buddy Chris Kokel and my old roommate Brandon Rossetti, where we lived in this place called Chico, California. It used to be like the #1 party school in America. And for some reason, when you feed this guy booze, this your boy here, he just don't give a fuck. And then I'd show up hungover for practice the next day, and I'd still fight, dude. So they just started calling me the Honey Badger, man. Hobby don't give a fuck, bro. He'll drink, he'll party, he'll do whatever, dude. He doesn't care. He's just a bad man, dude. And it just stuck. And when I went to Thailand, they're like, yo, what's in that first FMD fight? It's like, you got a fight nickname. I was like, yeah, they call me the Honey Badger, dude. That's where it came. That's what I had as my fight nickname as an amateur. That's what the guys put down as a joke when I was fighting on the local circuit. They're like, oh, let's put Honey Badger on for Honey. Yeah. It was just, and it just always stuck. What's that?
I had to Google it. I didn't realize what it was.
Hey man, it's the most fierce. It's the most fearless animal on the planet, dude. So it suits the name. It suits the name to the man. I ain't afraid. Those animals ain't afraid to fight lions. They ain't afraid to fight nothing, dude. And most fearless animal on the planet, and the most clever. So I thought the name was suitable. And you know what? Like, it was a name given. I feel like some of these guys, they come up with like they're they call me God of War or this or that. It's like I feel like a fight name has to be given, and that was what the world gave me. So that's what I run with. Yeah,
it is better if someone else gives it to you. It's more real, isn't it?
Yeah.
Making it yourself and things, you know what I mean? So, wicked, man.
Awesome, brother. Dude, thanks again, Russ.
Thanks very much for your time. And have a great night tonight.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna go to sleep, dude, and then I'll get up and do some training. So it's gonna be a good day.
All right. Peace out, bro.
Thanks, man. Later, brother. Peace.